Thank you for joining Wars of the Rosies, and this video is going to be part 2 of the Rosicrucian Mystery, taken from The Unknown World, a magazine devoted to the occult sciences, magic, mystical philosophy, alchemy, Hermetic archaeology, and the hidden problems of science, literature, speculation, and history. Number 2, Volume 1, September the 15th, 1894. Edited by Arthur Edward Waite, The Rosicrucian Mystery. In attempting to deal with the early history of the Rosicrucian Brotherhood at its apparent birthplace in Germany, there is one difficulty which meets the inquirer upon the threshold, and it is of a kind which at first sight would not have been expected. This is the complete disappearance of the first editions of the two manifestos announcing the existence of the society, and also of some other important printed documents which appeared early in the controversy. Imaginative persons will almost be excused for supposing that there is more of design than accident herein. There are distinct traces of the manifestos anterior to any known edition, or to speak exactly, anterior to any edition in catalogues of the great public libraries of Europe. The oldest impression which has been met with by the present writer during the course of a long inquiry is the Cassel edition of the Universal Reformation and the Fama Fraternaeus, which bears on its title page the date of 1614. This is not the original, for in the account of Rosicrucian literature which is included by Balenglet du Fresnoy in his great and painstaking Hermetic biography, Paris, 1742, there is the following. 1613, no place of publication being however mentioned, this work has vanished, and the case is the same with another pamphlet. 1614. In this instance, there seems to have been a second edition published in 1615, together with confessions of the fraternity, and with letters from certain persons. In most other instances, the public curiosity of this period was content with a single impression, the Fama and Confessio excepted, which were many times printed, and of which there are various versions in Latin, German, French, and English. In the library at Darrington, there is said to be a considerable body of letters addressed to the Rosicrucian fraternity on the part of persons of all qualities and conditions, but whether they are in print or manuscript is not stated, and for the moment further elucidation is impossible by the present writer. When, however, these documents come to be examined, an attempt which will certainly be made in the course of this inquiry, it is possible that a part, at least, of the missing early Rosicrucian literature may be thus recovered. The chief point to be noted in connection with the information just recited is that the Rosicrucian manifestos may have appeared so early as 1612, for it is obvious they must have antedated the vanished epistle of the following year. And this leads up to another not unimportant point. It is quite possible that they have existed in manuscript for some time previous to their actual date of publication, and they may not improbably have circulated privately from hand, as was the case beyond doubt with many unprinted works at that period, when the seekers after the philosopher's stone were always eagerly visiting one another, even in remote places, and comparing notes upon the object of their researches and the various methods which were derived for its attainment. This supposition is not altogether conjecture, for Thomas D. Quincy, in his account of Rosicrucians and Freemasons, founded on the larger work of a German critic, Professor Bull, affirms that, according to the notary Hasselmeyer, the Fama Fraternaeus existed in manuscript in the year 1610. As is sometimes the case with German critics and their English translations, the identity of the notary in question seems to have been left conjectural. It is indispensable to the validity of some Rosicrucian hypothesis that the publication, or at least the existence of the manifestos, should be put back as far as possible. And it is for this reason that the dates are important. It is important also to understand with some precision the state of the Rosicrucian controversy at the period when it began, and fortunately for the purpose, there exists in the library of the British Museum a valuable manuscript which will to some extent atone for the absence of the missing pamphlets and for the bundle of Garrington letters. It is well known that the Kentish mystic Robert Flood was among the earliest Rosicrucian apologists. That is, he was one of the first who undertook in a planned treatise to defend the manifestos and those who had given them to the world. He was also the most enthusiastic of his class, and he was, finally, the last to give in, for so late as the year 1829, the Summum Bonum, of which he is supposed to be the pseudonymous author, still champions the cause and doctrines of the secret society, to the brethren of which he offers such respectful salutations in the epilogue to his first book, since the documents which it is proposed to lay, though as compendious as possible before the reader, will require considerable space, and as Robert Flood will be the subject of a special illustrated article in the third number of the Unknown World, the further consideration of this point may be deferred till next month, in favor of a very curious document which has recently came to hand. Among the subjects of inquiry mentioned last month in connection with these Rosicrucian papers was in question whether any such fraternity has a corporate existence at the present day. How far the following observations, which have been sent by a gentleman who, though known to the present writer, has stipulated for his identity to be withheld, may be generally regarded as hinting a solution of that problem, it would be premature to say, but it is with great pleasure that they are permitted here to speak for themselves. It is in quite an unexpected way that information, however reserved, upon the last of the proposed subjects, has thus been vouchsafed, as it were, before its time, but it is not the less interesting to read, as it issues from a source which seems to be authoritative. The Rosicrucian Mystery from the standpoint of a Rosicrucian. The Unknown World will investigate the Rosicrucian Mystery. By all means, give students easy access to the documents which the Rosicrucians from time to time have authorized. But those who expect to find therein the real occult secrets of this order will surely be disappointed. The occultic keys to the operations of nature, which have been so jealously guarded from the profane for centuries, will never be lightly revealed to the world. When mankind is ripe for these knowledges and humanity, once more restored to pristine purity, can be safely entrusted with them, they may be more fully revealed, but not till then. And even in what has been given forth publicly, there are blinds and veils innumerable, and scarcely ever will an adept write for the public without some such concealment which only the wise will understand. A supposed revealing is often to some extent a revealing, as it is written. Whenever a student happens upon a very definite assertion in a book, certainly the work of a high adept, it is generally safe to seek further. For the ancient writers, when they did publish, never threw pearls of learning away, though willing to tender them to the earnest students. Now the Fama and Confessio, the publication of which was authorized by the Rosicrucians, affords some remarkable illustrations of this fact. In the Fama it is stated that when the vault containing the probably embalmed body of Christian Rosicrucius was opened after having been closed 120 years, the Vocabularium of Paracelsus was found therein. Seeing that Paracelsus lived from 1493 to 1541, or during the aforesaid period of 120 years, it is obvious that was an impossibility. But as it is incredible that the society should have accidentally perpetrated such an egregious error, it follows that it was an intentional blind, inserted for the definite purpose of repelling the professional critic. As a high adept of the order has recently written to some of the fraters, the critic is rarely or never an occultist. The society, to ensure the inclusion of such men, did cunningly when it authorized the publication of a tract with a blot which would condemn it straight off in their eyes, and so kept such men from clamoring for admission. The real significance of this statement is that Paracelsus was an initiate of an affiliated order, and therefore an accredited teacher. For as the Fama says, although he was none of our fraternity, yet nevertheless hath he diligently read over the book M, whereby his sharp ingenium was exalted, and if he had mastered this book, the range of his occult knowledge must have been vast indeed. Again, the Fama states that each side of this vault was 8 feet high and 5 feet wide, and yet every side or wall is parted into 10 squares. This is mathematically impossible and is another blind, but to what the 10 squares refer, I may not say. So also the wonderful artificial songs stated to have been found therein contain no meaning to outsiders, but the wise, the true initiates, will understand. So again, the Confessio professes to give 37 reasons of our purpose and intention, yet no such 37 reasons are given, but by the process of Temora, the Hebrew letters signifying this number are significant. No. The keys of the forces of nature, which the true Rosicrucians have inherited from the initiates and sages of the dim past, are not to be found in printed volumes, even when published by authority. Not from these works, not from bogus societies which falsely call themselves Rosicrucians, are the mysteries of the Book of T, and still deeper mysteries of the Book of M to be obtained. Only can they be learnt from the higher chiefs of the order, and only by those who have first been found worthy of admission, have afterwards passed satisfactorily through the period of their probation, and have finally proven themselves able to use these keys by the development of that occultic power without which mere book learning is useless. It may be asked, how is it that these secrets have not been revealed, either by accident or by treachery? As to the first hypothesis, I have only heard of some of the contents of 2 MSS escaping from the order. One copy is so elementary as to be practically useless, and moreover is full of errors. The other has been so perverted as to be simply dangerous to the user. Doubtless the higher chiefs take means for removing any important MSS from those whom they see about to become incapacitated either by illness or death. As for treachery, it is not likely that any very important secrets would be given to a member until his fidelity was thoroughly assured, and every initiate of an occult order knows that his willful perjure would be followed by unpleasant consequences, possibly a conqueror's inquest and a verdict of death from syncope. La Suragan. Request not of the deity such things as, when obtained, you cannot preserve, for no gift of the deity can ever be taken away, and on this account he does not confer what you are not able to retain. Pythagorean sentences of Demopolis. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and comment. And if you can, please consider donating a little towards the Rosies. Links to PayPal and Patreon are in the description. Thank you very much.